As we get older, certain habits we adopt often without realizing can affect how others treat us. Most people won't mention it, but these small signals can shape our social lives and confidence. The good news is, by becoming aware of these behaviors and making small changes, you can feel stronger, more respected, and connected at any age. It's not about trying to look younger, but about reflecting your life experience and energy. In this article, we'll explore 5 common things people do without realizing and how to easily fix them. With simple steps, you can enjoy a vibrant, respected, and connected life. Let's dive right in. 1. Overlooking personal appearance and hygiene. This might seem like an obvious one, but it's surprisingly common. As we get older, it's easy to fall into a routine where we stop paying attention to the small details that make us feel polished and put together. For example, maybe you used to trim your nails regularly, but now they get a little overgrown. Or perhaps you always kept your hair neat, but these days it's not as much of a priority. Clothes might be clean, but a little wrinkled, or you might be wearing the same few outfits over and over again because they're comfortable. It happens to the best of us. But here's the thing, people notice. Take Edith, for example. At 79, she was a vibrant woman with a quick wit and a warm smile. But over time, she started to let things slide. Her once bright blouses were faded, her hair was rarely styled, and she often wore house slippers even when she went out. Friends still loved her, of course, but they couldn't help but see the change. One day, her daughter gently encouraged her to go to the salon for a haircut. Edith reluctantly agreed, and afterward, she was stunned at how much better she felt. She got a few new pieces of clothing, and soon she noticed people engaging with her differently. Strangers smiled more, and friends lingered longer in conversation. The truth is, when we feel good about how we look, it shows in our energy and body language. We stand taller, we engage more, and that positive energy is contagious. What can you do? Start small. Get a regular haircut. Keep your nails trimmed and clean. Wear clothes that fit well, feel good, and look fresh. You don't need to follow fashion trends, just choose things that make you feel proud of how you present yourself. A dab of moisturizer, a touch of cologne or perfume, and clean shoes can work wonders. When you invest a little time in yourself, it sends a message to the world. I'm here, I care, and I'm ready to connect. 2. Speaking without realizing you're too loud or too quiet. As we age, our hearing changes. It's a fact of life, but it often creeps up so gradually that we don't notice it ourselves. What we do notice is that conversations start to feel a little different. You may find yourself speaking louder than you need to, or sometimes too softly without even realizing it. Take Frank, for instance. He was 81 and loved sharing stories with anyone who'd listen. Over time, though, his family noticed he was practically shouting at the dinner table. It wasn't until a close friend mentioned how hard it was to have a conversation in public because of the volume of his voice that he realized something had changed. Frank decided to have his hearing checked and was surprised to learn that mild hearing loss was making it harder for him to regulate his speaking volume. After adjusting to a small hearing aid, he found it easier to stay aware of his voice. Conversations became smoother, and people stopped inching away when he spoke. What can you do? Pay attention to how people react when you talk. Do they lean away? Do they glance around uncomfortably? Or maybe they keep asking you to repeat yourself because you're speaking too softly. These are clues. Consider getting your hearing tested regularly. It's easy, painless, and can make a huge difference in your communication. And remember, a good conversation isn't about who talks the most or loudest. It's about connection. Practice active listening. Let others finish their thoughts. Respond thoughtfully. People are drawn to those who make them feel heard. 3. Wearing clothes that are too dated or don't fit properly. This point ties into personal appearance, but it deserves its own spotlight. Many of us hang on to clothes that we've loved for years, sometimes decades, because they're familiar and comfortable. But clothing sends a message, whether we intend it to or not. Outdated styles or ill-fitting garments can unintentionally make us look disconnected from the present, or even give the impression that we've stopped caring about ourselves. Take Mary, a stylish woman in her younger years, who at 85 was still wearing the same dresses she'd had since the late 70s. The fabrics had faded, and the fit was no longer flattering. One day, her granddaughter offered to take her shopping. At first, Mary resisted. She didn't want to feel pressured to dress young, but they found some modern, classic pieces that honored her style and fit beautifully. The compliments rolled in. More importantly, Mary felt a renewed sense of self. She wasn't pretending to be anyone else. She was simply updating her look to reflect the vibrant woman she still was. What can you do? You don't have to chase trends. Look for classic, timeless pieces that fit well and are in good condition. Choose colors that brighten your complexion and fabrics that feel good on your skin. A well-fitting jacket, a fresh pair of shoes, or a structured pair of trousers can make you feel years younger, not because they make you look younger, but because they show the world you still value yourself. And if you're unsure what works, ask a trusted friend, family member, or even a shop assistant for advice. You might be surprised by how easy and enjoyable it is to refresh your wardrobe. 4. Constantly talking about aches, pains, or the good old days. We've all been there. You sit down with friends or family, and before long, the conversation drifts toward health issues, doctor visits, and how things just aren't the way they used to be. It's natural. As we get older, health becomes a bigger part of our lives, and nostalgia can feel comforting, but constantly focusing on the negative, whether it's physical complaints or how much better things were in the past, can be draining for others. And often, we don't even realize we're doing it. Take Richard, a lively man of 78, who noticed one day that his grandchildren seemed distracted during their visits. His daughter gently told him they loved seeing him, but they found it hard to engage when every conversation turned into a list of grievances or lectures about the old days. Richard made an effort to talk about things they cared about: movies, music, books, even TikTok. He asked questions and listened more. The result? His grandchildren lingered longer, and conversations were filled with laughter and curiosity. What can you do? Be mindful of how often you talk about your health or the past. Of course, it's fine to share these things, but balance is key. Ask others about their lives. Show genuine interest. Talk about books you've read, projects you're working on, or funny things you've noticed. Positivity is contagious, and people gravitate toward those who make them feel good. And when you share stories from the past, try framing them in a way that sparks joy or wonder rather than disappointment. Instead of "things were better back then," try "isn't it amazing how things have changed?" 5. Slouching, shuffling, or closed-off body language. How you carry yourself speaks volumes before you ever say a word. With age, many people develop a habit of slouching or shuffling when they walk. It might be due to stiffness, arthritis, or simply habit, but it can make you appear frail or disengaged, even when you feel sharp and alert inside. Take Eleanor. At 82, she was still mentally sharp and socially active. But at social gatherings, she often found herself sitting with her arms crossed, shoulders hunched, and eyes cast downward. People assumed she didn't want to engage when in fact, she felt isolated because no one approached her. After a gentle conversation with a friend, Eleanor began making a conscious effort to sit upright, uncross her arms, and make eye contact. The difference was immediate. People approached her more often, and conversations flowed more easily. What can you do? Work on your posture. Gentle stretching, yoga, or Tai Chi can help. When you walk, focus on standing tall, keeping your shoulders back, and making eye contact with those around you. When sitting, uncross your arms and lean slightly forward to show engagement. Smile. Even a small change in body language can make you appear more open, welcoming, and confident. And here's the best part. Good posture doesn't just make you look better, it makes you feel better. Studies show that standing tall can boost your